Defender Radar Network lighting up with rounds of heavy rain across much of central and eastern Kentucky. We'll track that and the rest of the weekend just ahead.
If you haven't been able to mow your lawn, you're not alone. Coming up, we'll show you why the wet weather is impacting local landscaping businesses.
The girlfriend of a man accused in a bizarre Pulaski County murder admits to her role in the crime.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Well, that break didn't last long, did it? Rain has come back to the bluegrass in a big way.
Heavy showers are expected throughout the night and into our weekend. Let's begin with WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey with an early check of your forecast. I think the rain is finally stopped here, at least.
Yeah, at least we can't hear it. It's still coming down. It's just not the crazy heavy stuff we had over the past few hours. It'll pick up the pace again very shortly. But this first big round of water, look at all the yellow and the heavy stuff that continues now to lift its way onto the north and northeast. Heavy rain here into Laurel County, Corbin, into the London area, down to Williamsburg. Most of Knox County dry, ironically. To our north, though, heavy rain. Heavy rain into eastern Kentucky, just now getting in to the Big Sandy Valley, parts of the Licking River Valley. I-64, though, is a mess with wet roads, ponding of water, and some locally heavy downpours that continue across the Lexington area. Downtown Lexington, heavy amounts of rain so far, adding up to right at 1 inch of water on the day. A little heavier burst between Lancaster and Nicholasville and back to our west and southwest. We got to watch that corridor from Danville down to the Campbellsville and Glasgow area. Whatever fires up there will be moving into parts of central and eastern Kentucky over the next couple of hours. You see how we have that big swirl around an area of low pressure that is across western Kentucky as of now. Once we get rid of this big corridor of heavy rain this evening, it becomes more showery in nature, but the possibility is still there for a heavier burst of rain at some point as we go through the evening. Highlighting or lowlighting that forecast, heavy rain this evening, much more scattered stuff for our Saturday. Saturday's rain, nothing like what we're seeing out there now. Will come with plenty of breaks, but also some gusty rains that will crash whatever outdoor plans you have from time to time on Saturday. And oh, by the way, 7-day forecast has a little hint of summer finally showing up. We'll break it down for you in a little better than 10 minutes.
Chris, thank you. All of this rain can certainly put a stop to anyone's plans, but for some businesses, it could cut into profits.
Our Mike Linden talked with some landscaping workers about this messy May.
It's been very difficult this year. It's been one of the worst in the past 15 years that I can remember of.
For small business owners like Kevin Flatter, even the smallest problem can become a large one. This season, that problem has been the rain.
We hate it, but just try to do our best is all you can do.
Since the start of the month in the region, only 2 days have been completely dry. That's made it difficult for Flatter and most people to get out and mow.
We're finally starting to get caught up, but we have landscape and patio jobs that's been waiting 8 to 10 weeks on us right now.
While the wet weather can hinder landscaping, it can also certainly help it because, of course, you need rain for grass to grow. But on the other side, you certainly need the rain to stay away in order to cut the grass.
For crews with Diamond Landscapes, the weather is factored into each project they take on.
It's all in the preparation of each property as we go through everything. And so when we're prepared, let the rain come because it's something that we expect for the season.
With summer just around a month away, John says all the rain we've seen should lead to a very pretty summer in the bluegrass.
Morale and every personality seem to do a lot better whenever there's a lot of vibrant color around, and rain sure does help that.
In Lexington, Mike Linden, WKYT.
You can track the rain wherever you are by downloading the WKYT weather app. It's free on the App Store and Google Play. It's a bizarre and troubling case in southern Kentucky. A man found dead, buried under concrete, and police say the victim's son killed him.
Today, a guilty plea from the murder suspect's girlfriend, who told a judge she intentionally stole from the murdered man's Pulaski County home. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on what happened in court.
Amanda Braddock was charged with complicity to commit murder, but those charges were dropped Friday when she admitted to stealing from the man that her boyfriend is accused of killing.
Did you remove evidence from the scene of this homicide?
Yes.
And what evidence did you remove?
furniture. I removed furniture, Edward's personal belongings.
Edward Van Wormer was found buried beneath some concrete. He had been reported missing in August of last year. He was discovered in September. Police believe that his son Jedediah shot and killed him. It's not known when Jedediah will face a trial on those charges. I'm told by the prosecutor he is currently undergoing a mental evaluation. The prosecutor says Braddock was never a suspect in the actual murder, but she knew of the crime and took a lot of the victim's possessions to a storage unit in London before she and her boyfriend fled to North Carolina.
In this case, what I point out to the judge too was that he was a missing person for several weeks, and so I think part of the motivation was to make it look like he had moved out of the house and left.
With the plea, Braddock agreed to testify against her former boyfriend.
Tons of evidence in this case. I think we have a good case with or without her, but she will be an important witness in the trial.
Braddock will be sentenced after the trial, and the recommendation was 5 years on the charges of theft and evidence tampering, probated for 5 years. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Braddock was released after her family posted a $10,000 surety bond. She is from North Carolina but was ordered to return to Kentucky to testify against Van Wormer.
One of 3 men accused of shooting and killing a University of Kentucky student during a robbery last year was back in court today. Efrain Diaz Jr. is charged with murder and robbery after 22-year-old Jonathan Kruger died in April of last year. Justin Smith and Roman Gonzalez Jr. are also charged in the crime. Today's motion hearing for Diaz focused on where the suspects are housed in jail. It was a quick hearing, and representation for Diaz says that there will be more motion hearings to come ahead of the trial.
I know everyone who's working on this case. We've got a team of 3 lawyers, investigator, mitigation specialists, and we're bringing in some other experts. We're doing everything we can to make sure that the truth comes out.
The trial is set to begin in March of next year.
State police have named the officers involved in a deadly shooting last night. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Knott County. State police shot and killed 36-year-old Timothy Brandon Stacy at a home in the Feisty community. Police say Stacy pointed a gun at officers while they were checking on a complaint call. State police say the officers involved in the shooting are troopers Josh Huff and Charlie Moore, as well as Detective Chris Collins. All 3 have been placed on administrative leave, which they say is standard procedure in a trooper-involved shooting. In Floyd County, police are warning drivers as crews clean up debris from a rock slide last week. State police are stepping up patrol on the northbound lanes of US 23 in the Iville community. Because of the rock slide closure, all traffic is being diverted to the southbound lanes. Police are also asking drivers to use extra caution while passing through the work zone, especially during rush hour traffic. A Louisville hot dog vendor has been found not guilty of killing a man in a suspected case of road rage. The incident happened in 2014. 68-year-old Donald Hayes says he was driving when he was cut off by 57-year-old Danny Wilson. The men ended up confronting each other in a parking lot. Police say Wilson broke Hayes' window with a bat. Hayes then fired a gun, striking Wilson in the face. Hayes' attorneys say his client acted in self-defense. Yesterday, a jury cleared Hayes of murder.
Winning a lottery always sounds good, right? Well, who doesn't need a little extra money? But as you'll see, a scam guaranteed a prize and ended up costing consumers millions of dollars. Moral of the story? Always read the fine print.
You send in $20, and then they guaranteed you a certain amount of money.
Guaranteed is a pretty powerful word, so Nancy Trotner sent in a check for $20. But no prize ever came.
When I'd go to the mailbox, like, well, this is going to help out with bills. This is going to help out with, things we need, and it never happened.
Instead, Nancy was flooded with more solicitations.
I didn't feel a huge loss because of the amount, but I felt like this is something that needs to be stopped, and it's something that needs to be reported.
So she called postal inspectors and quickly learned she was not alone. The suspect in this case sent more than 3.7 million letters to over 150 countries in a 2-year period. Victims' losses are over $11 million. On the letters in fine print, there is a disclaimer that says participants will receive a list of other contests, no cash prize.
He seemed to target senior citizens who would not pay attention to that disclaimer, instead would notice the bold claims that you have won millions of dollars.
Inspectors say the hopes of winning money or a prize can often cloud victims from seeing the big picture. Nancy admits she has learned a valuable lesson.
Pay more attention to my gut in kind of what was happening, and rather than start thinking about how I would use the money or how much I needed it, because that, I think, is where I got diverted.
The Federal Trade Commission says this scheme is one of the largest of its kind, and a civil suit was filed against those linked to the creation of the solicitation. Now, postal inspectors want to remind consumers no legitimate lottery will ask for you to pay for a prize that you won. It is all about coal country and Kentucky's race for U.S. Senate.
Bill Bryant has more in today's Bottom Line.
Good evening. Coal could be a major issue in this year's U.S. Senate race, as it has been in several of Kentucky's recent elections. Lexington Mayor Jim Gray is the Democratic nominee, challenging Republican incumbent Senator Rand Paul. It's clear that Paul is planning to try to tie Gray to Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's plans for an economy in Appalachia that would transition beyond coal. And Gray says the whole debate needs balance.
Coal miners are some of the most productive people in America. I hear this across our state. And we need to work to diversify our economy. This is something that we arguably should have been working on a long time ago. But I support a modern economy. I support infrastructure for a modern economy.
You know, Eastern Kentucky and parts of Western Kentucky have traditionally been coal mining communities. And when Hillary Clinton says we're going to put your coal miners out of business, we take it pretty personally. I think she disrespected Kentucky. I think she ought to apologize.
Kentucky newsmakers with those interviews air Sunday morning at 6 on WKYT, and it repeats at 10 a.m. Sunday on the CW Lexington. Set your DVR or catch it then. Donald Trump's visit to the National Rifle Association meeting in Louisville brought the presidential campaign back to Kentucky today. Trump promising to protect Second Amendment rights. Democrat Clinton says the country needs to close gun sale loopholes and have more comprehensive checks for gun purchases. A special election is set in Williamsburg for June 28th to decide whether to allow expanded alcohol sales. Right now, Williamsburg allows alcohol by the drink in larger restaurants. The proposal would expand to package sales. Several other towns in southeastern Kentucky have recently voted to expand alcohol sales. Kentucky Ag Commissioner Ryan Quarles released the economic impact of corn in the bluegrass state today. Quarles says the corn crop is worth more than $1.1 billion to the state's economy. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
The mayor of Somerset says it's like no other building anywhere in the United States. Today, the new Somerset Energy Center was dedicated. New building will monitor the city's network of natural gas pipelines that run from Leslie to Casey counties. Will also house City Hall, the police and water departments, and other city government offices. The building cost $10 million to build, was financed by a USDA loan.